There are rules they teach you. Be polite, be open, speak up. But then there are the rules no one dares to say out loud. The real ones, the ones that separate those who are merely seen from those who are never forgotten. Machiavelli understood this divide better than anyone. In public, you're not just being watched. You're being measured, not by what you say, but by what you don't. Every movement, every silence, every glance becomes a code, a message, not to everyone, just to the ones who matter. Because true power doesn't perform, it withdraws, it observes, it lets the room adjust to its silence. And while the average man tries to impress, the Machiavellian reshapes perception without ever lifting a finger. This video isn't about the obvious, it's about the hidden. The 9 silent behaviors that ruin your mystique without you realizing, and the strategic replacements that will install a new presence in you, one so sharp, so composed, so unsettlingly still, that rooms won't know whether to fear you or follow you. Watch closely, not just for the words, boys, but for what is deliberately left unsaid. Never speak too quickly in public. When you rush your words, you rush your power. People associate speed with nervousness, with eagerness, with weakness. The Machiavellian doesn't rush. He pauses. He lets silence stretch. Because in that silence, people lean in. They assume depth. They project intelligence. Slow speech is not laziness. It's control. It means you're not reacting, but you're deciding. And when others speak fast around you, anxious to fill space, your stillness becomes thunder. Slow down your sentences. Speak as if time is yours. Because when it feels like you're never in a hurry, people wonder what you already know. And that curiosity is power. Most importantly, leave pauses. Purposeful ones. Let your words breathe, not for drama, but for domination. Let the room feel the space between your phrases. That's where power lives. Never explain your emotions in public. You might think it makes you human, vulnerable, even relatable. But to the Machiavellian mind, it's exposure. It's a signal that you seek validation, that you want others to understand you. And that desire alone is a liability. When you say, "I'm feeling overwhelmed," or "I'm just really sensitive to this," you invite others to calibrate your worth emotionally. And they will, with judgment. Replace that urge to be understood with quiet composure. You don't owe anyone your emotional roadmap. Let them guess. Let them project. Let them be unsure if you're ice-cold or simply unbothered. That ambiguity becomes armor. It makes people tread carefully around you. Because the moment you stop labeling your feelings, others stop labeling your limits. Never react instantly to provocation. In public, every insult, every dig, every sarcastic remark is a test, not of your intelligence, but of your control. Most people take the bait. They reply, they defend, they correct. But Machiavelli would smile in that moment, because he knew silence is often louder than any rebuttal. When someone tries to provoke you, don't respond. Just look, not angrily, not amused, just observe. That single second of stillness creates pressure. The attacker starts to unravel, they talk more. They try harder, and the crowd sees it, not as you backing down, but as you dominating the tempo. The one who doesn't flinch in public owns the entire room, so next time they expect you to react, disappoint them. Hold the silence, let them feel the weight of it. Never display eagerness for connection. When you're too quick to bond, too warm, too available, you lose something critical, your edge. People crave connection with those who seem slightly out of reach. It's not cruelty, it's mystique. The Machiavellian never floods others with attention. He gives it in drops. Just enough to keep you wanting more. Never enough to feel satisfied. Because once they feel like they figured you out, they stop respecting you. So instead of complimenting everyone, asking too many questions, or laughing at every joke, remain measured. Be polite, yes, but distant. Let people work for your attention. That struggle builds value. And soon, your presence will be the reward everyone subconsciously seeks, without even knowing why. Never show discomfort with silence. Most people hate it. They panic, they fidget, they speak just to fill the void. But the Machiavellian understands something deeper. Silence is pressure. Silence is stage control. And the one who holds it, holds everyone. In a conversation, when you stop talking and simply maintain eye contact, the other person feels exposed. They begin to question what they said, how they said it, and what you're thinking. That's when they start revealing things, not to you but to themselves in front of you. You gain access to their insecurities without saying a word. In group settings, silence makes people look at you for reaction. They want your validation. They want your judgment. And when you give none, you become the standard they adjust themselves to. Don't break the silence too early. Let it mature, let it ferment, because silence, when owned, creates myth. And once you're a myth, you don't need to speak. Your stillness speaks for you. Never seek resolution too quickly. When conflict appears in public, tension, disagreement, subtle friction, most people rush to fix it. They apologize, they clarify, they try to restore harmony. But Machiavelli knew tension is leverage. Discomfort unsettles the weak and reveals the strong. Let the tension breathe. Let others squirm in it. Don't rush to clean up emotional messes that aren't yours. When you show calm amid chaos, you send a silent signal. I'm unaffected. That's intimidating. That's powerful. If someone insults you and expects a response, wait. If someone corrects you publicly, nod, then say nothing. Let them wonder if you agreed, or if you simply dismissed them completely. This ambiguity leaves them unbalanced. The longer they guess, the more you own the frame. Because dominance in public isn't about volume, it's about tempo. You control the tempo, you control the narrative. And those who control the narrative rule without needing to speak. Never make your habits predictable. In public, people form conclusions quickly. They track what time you arrive, where you sit, how you greet others, what you wear. And the more predictable you are, the more easily they define you, and eventually ignore you. Machiavellian presence is crafted through controlled unpredictability. Sit in a different seat. Leave events early one day, stay late another. Speak to different people. Skip a conversation completely. Subtle variation makes people pay attention. They can't read you. They can't pin you, and that unsettles their perception. Predictability is comfort, and comfort breeds dismissal, but unpredictability creates focus. When people don't know your next move, they watch you more closely. You're no longer just a person in the room. You're the variable everyone silently tracks. And that by itself creates status. Never publicly try to correct how others see you. If someone misunderstands your words, twists your meaning, or paints a false image of you, your instinct might be to defend, to clarify. Resist it. Because defending your image publicly tells the world two things. One, you're worried it might be true. And two, their opinion matters. Machiavelli never begged for understanding. He weaponized misunderstanding. He let people assume, let rumors circulate, and then use those assumptions as camouflage. If someone misjudges you as weak, let them. That underestimation becomes your shield. If they think you're irrelevant, boring, too quiet, perfect. That means they're not watching your real moves. Publicly defending yourself reveals insecurity, but remaining silent, strategically silent, creates power by forcing others to reconcile their perception with your unshaken posture. Eventually, perception bends to presence, but only when you don't bend first. Never allow public comparison to disturb your posture. Whether someone is praised louder than you, receives more attention, or is positioned as better, the Machiavellian doesn't flinch. Because reacting to comparison instantly reveals where your ego is anchored. And the moment others know what rattles you, they've found your handle. You become movable. In public, you will often be outshined, even strategically sidelined. But Machiavelli teaches, the wise never compete where others expect them to. When someone else is being elevated, remain unmoved. Do not shrink, but do not try to outshine. Instead, absorb. Wait. Because when you don't resist comparison, you create contrast. Your calm, your restraint, your lack of thirst, it all begins to radiate differently. Soon the one who shouted will fade, and the one who remained still will be remembered. Why? Because attention fades quickly, but presence lingers, especially when it was never asked for. Never let your body language betray your strategy. In public, words matter, but posture is louder. And the world reads posture like scripture. Every fidget, Every unnecessary smile, every foot tap tells a story you didn't intend. Machiavelli mastered presence not by speaking more, but by aligning body and intention. Back straight, shoulders relaxed, eyes neither darting nor fixed, hands calm, breaths measured. When others get excited, you stay steady. When others fume, you blink slower. This physical contrast rewrites the emotional atmosphere. People subconsciously shift their tone around you. Your calm becomes the command. You don't need to dominate a conversation when your energy is already setting its ceiling. So, rehearse stillness. Make poise a habit. Because when your body refuses to reveal stress, people assume you've already won something they can't name. Never reveal your strategy through curiosity. Asking too many questions in public makes you look eager, off balance, searching. But Machiavellians don't ask for clarity. They provoke it. Instead of, "What do you think?" say, "You seem certain." Instead of, "What's your plan?" say, "You've thought this through." See the difference. It's not about gathering data. It's about watching reactions. Let others talk too much. Let them explain themselves away. You offer fragments. You nod slowly. You let them prove their competence while you remain unreadable. In public, the one who knows the most is not always the one who speaks the most. It's the one who triggers others into revealing everything without revealing anything back. That's how power is gathered, not by pressing but by positioning. You don't interrogate. You invite disclosure without permission. Never chase a narrative that walks away from you. Sometimes people in public will misrepresent you, not through attack, but through absence. They forget to mention your role. They skip over your name. They downplay your input. The weak rush to insert themselves back into the spotlight. "Hey, I was part of that. Hey, you forgot to mention I helped." But Machiavellian presence doesn't beg for credit. It lets absence work as shadow. And in time, that shadow grows until it's noticed, without effort. If people leave you out, vanish more deliberately. Don't correct them. Don't campaign for your worth. Instead, succeed silently in another sphere. And when they see you again, they'll realize they missed something powerful. The Machiavellian doesn't demand recognition. He engineers regret, quietly, strategically, and always with the patience of someone who knows the final frame belongs to him. Never be the first to emotionally close a space. In public, most people are eager to wrap up a conversation, finish a moment, or make others feel comfortable. They'll say things like, "Well, I don't want to keep you," or "Let's not make this awkward." But every time you close a space emotionally, you signal deference. You signal that you're adjusting your rhythm to theirs. The Machiavellian never does this. He lets others reach for closure first. He creates silence long enough that the other person feels the need to fill it. He ends conversations when interest is rising, not when it's fading. And when he walks away, it's with timing so precise that people aren't sure if they were dismissed or left behind. That psychological delay, that unfinished interaction, creates memory. It turns your exit into a lingering presence. So next time you're tempted to wrap something up for comfort, don't. Let tension do the work. Let others chase the ending they didn't get. Never offer your real opinion on powerful people in public, even when invited, even when it feels safe. Because opinions once spoken become weapons, not in your hand, but in someone else's. The Machiavellian doesn't reveal his view. He reflects. If asked, "What do you think of him?" he'll say, "Interesting character," or "Time will tell." These answers give nothing, and yet they unsettle. They keep people guessing where you stand, which side you choose, and what you really see. That uncertainty makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is magnetic. It forces others to calculate around you, to court your approval, to fear your silence. Because while others talk, you're remembered for what you never clarified. And that, over time, becomes its own kind of influence, not based on agreement but on unreadability. A dangerous quality, and one Machiavelli would call royal. Never reveal you've been studying the room. Every room is a map, of hierarchy, of attention, of threat. But while others try to be seen, the Machiavellian watches, silently, casually. He notices who speaks too much, who listens too little, who glances for validation and who never breaks eye contact. He watches the reactions people have when someone walks in. He takes mental notes of alliances, insecurities, subtle rivalries, but never shows it, because the moment you show you're observing, you change their behavior. You tip your hand, so instead, appear disinterested. Let your gaze drift, not too focused, not too flat. Blend the line between passive and predator, because the one who watches quietly is the one who collects power slowly and deploys it suddenly. Machiavelli knew intelligence is most potent when it's assumed to be absent, until it isn't. Never exit without imprinting a final thought. When you leave a public space, a conversation, or even just a passing moment, leave with deliberate residue. A phrase, a smirk, a look. Something that follows them after you're gone. Something that plays back later, not loudly but persistently. You'll see, that's not the end. I'm not sure they understand yet. These aren't explanations, they're anchors, psychological echoes. Machiavelli mastered the art of making exits feel incomplete, not chaotic, not emotional, just unfinished. And in that gap, the mind starts to replay, to analyze, to search. That is presence, not loud, not theatrical, but replayed over and over in private minds. When you can exit a moment and still control what they think 10 minutes later, that's when you've stopped being a man and started becoming a myth. Because the true Machiavellian doesn't conquer rooms. He haunts them. You've now seen the shadows, not just of what to avoid, but of what to become. You understand that public space is not neutral. It's a battlefield where the loud are sacrificed first, where the desperate are ignored, and where only the composed, the unreadable, the mythically still survive and rise. Machiavelli never wanted to be popular. He wanted to be unmistakable, not by noise, not by performance, but by the fear, respect, and curiosity he left behind. If you've made it this far, you already feel something shifting inside, a new standard rising. From now on, every step in public becomes a move. Every silence becomes a signal. Every departure becomes a disturbance. You don't just enter rooms anymore, you unbalance them. And that is the beginning of legend. If this video shifted how you see yourself in public, good, let it. And don't just watch, study it again, then move differently, strategically, deliberately. Because the game doesn't reward visibility, it rewards control. Subscribe now, not just to join a channel, but to join a presence. One that knows silence isn't emptiness, it's precision. Share this video only with those who understand that power isn't spoken, it's installed. And leave a comment below, but choose your words like you're building your own myth. We'll be watching, quietly always.